This is a toy spot on the Sonic the Hedgehog 12-point articulated figures. Today we're going to be looking at the man himself, Sonic the Hedgehog. These are currently available at your local Toys R Us. They're a little bit smaller than the 2-pack figures, the 2-pack of Knuckles and Sonic. These are just a tad bit smaller. But this Sonic features 12 points of articulation. Very simple package, but very bright color. Definitely stands out on a peg wall. On the back of the package, the other figures, collect them all in this wave, or in this series, I guess, of figures. We have Knuckles, Tails, Sonic, Shadow, and then from the Sonic Unleashed we've got the Werehog, not a personal favorite of anybody, I think. We've got the see-through, kind of the blue translucent Sonic. We've got Silver, and then we've got Sonic from Sonic the Black Knight. I don't think I've ever seen that game. Sonic the Black Knight. But yes, collect them all. What we'll do is we'll get this packaged opened up, and we will have ourselves a better look at the Sonic the Hedgehog figure. Stay tuned. Alright, now that Sonic's out of the package, let's have a look at the figure. Where to start? Well, let's start first at the base. Sonic comes with a buzzsaw base, only fitting for Sonic the Hedgehog. And it seems unfortunate, though, that despite the fact he does come with the base, even making use of the base, Sonic still has problems. And let's go over that right now. Put the base down for a second. First of all, the head sculpt is really nice on Sonic. It's nicely detailed. The paint is very nice on him. Paint's pretty clean. Not really, I don't have any problems paint-wise with the figure. Where the problem, I think, lies in this figure is the fact that he almost seems to have too much articulation, and he's extremely top-heavy. Let's run through the points of articulation. He has I don't know if it's a ball-jointed head. It looks like the head could have been ball-joint. Just the way his head is sculpted, the head only moves left and right. He has a ball-jointed shoulder. He has a hinged elbow. I don't think he has. Oh, yes, he does. Yes, he does. He has he has a swivel in the wrist or in his gloves. He has a swivel in the waist, which I think is the one point of articulation. If you had to get something off right off the bat, I don't think they could have. They should have made use of a waist swivel, because what ends up happening is all of a sudden then you cut off poor Sonic's waist, and it just looks weird. So I think they probably could have just left that off altogether. He has ball jointed. He has a pegged leg that allows him to move back and forth, also in and out. He also has a jointed knee, and he also has a swivel in the foot. Now the problem is, though, for how articulated this Sonic is, it makes for a very not fragile. I mean, he doesn't feel very fragile, but it makes for a very hard to stand figure. Even also with the fact that he does have a stand. This head is just way too heavy for poor Sonic here, and he keeps falling back and his knees end up bending. I think they had good intentions by releasing a Sonic figure, but I think for what it was, you could have trimmed back a little of the articulation, like the articulation in the waist. The arms you could have kept the same. I don't think that the arms are really the big problem, but it's these knees. It's the knees and the legs that make for a Sonic that he's just a bit sloppy. And I guess it's hard really when you're dealing with a character that naturally he just has a large head to start off with, but to give him these really super articulated legs means that the figure is going to be very, very loose and very easy to fall back. So good figure, probably not as good executed as he could have been. I don't know if the other figures are like this, but it just could be that he's got too large of a head. I don't know if I'd recommend him. I mean, if you're going to get him, you might want to maybe put him on your bookcase leaning against something so he doesn't keep falling back. The Sonic here, I'm going to give I want to give a 5 to maybe. I think he could have been a lot better. Just goes to show, just because you can give a figure a lot of articulation, and a figure this small and skinny, maybe not a good idea. So today's toy spot, we're looking at the super articulated, whether it's good or bad, but the super articulated Sonic the Hedgehog figures. Today we're looking at Sonic himself. And with that, I'll see you guys next time. And I really didn't need to tack this on in the end of the video. I mean, certainly the video was fine on its own. But I don't know if this is a pose everybody would want to put him in, but I found putting him in that kind of starting to run pose, Sonic seems to stand pretty good. And his top heaviness doesn't seem to be as big of an issue. And it kind of looks dynamic. So I just thought, you know what, I'll tack this on to the end of the video just to kind of show you guys it's not a total loss. I mean, I guess if you get him in the right position, he does look like a pretty neat looking figure. Still kind of super articulated and too much for how heavy his head is, but a neat little position you can kind of get him in. So I figured I'd add this to the end of the video. I'll still wrap this up here, guys. Not necessarily a figure to recommend, but I guess he's not a total loss. See you guys next time.